Thank you, Mr Keating. I want to draw you towards Indonesia, a place I lived for 2 years. You visited many times as Prime Minister. In 1995, you signed the landmark security deal with Indonesia, and a year later, in Singapore, you talked of the great uncertainty with China. On Indonesia, could you talk to the impact the AUKUS agreement will have on the Australia-Indonesia relationship?
Well, look, I've said before many times, Australia's strategic bread is buttered in the Indonesian archipelago. A major attack on them, and the only people who could attack them majorly would be the Chinese, would affect us, whether we liked it or not. And a major attack on us would affect them. So this is why I put the agreement together with Suharto. An attack on any one of us was an attack on all of us. So what wise governments do is they put safety things in place. You know, you don't sit there waiting for someone to hit you over the head to think, hang on, I better put a few defences up here. So Indonesia is central to our security, our long-term security, and not that I expect, let me repeat, I don't expect any Chinese military assaults upon the Indonesian archipelago or us. But nevertheless, a prudent country running a defence policy, which is what I've done in the years I was in office, would be to have that archipelago at least, you know, capable of not intrusion by, let's call it, a negative power. Now, but you see, what the difference is, what Anthony Albanese has done this week, he screwed into place the last shackle in the long chain which the Americans have laid out to contain China. We are now part of a containment policy against China. You know, we've got Japan, the US, ourselves, and India, right? And buying these subs was like Anthony Albanese screwing up the shackle to make sure all the chains are connected. That's what we're doing. Instead of doing a more sensible thing, say, look, our bread is buttered in Southeast Asia. It's Southeast Asia that matters. It's Indonesia which matters. Let's get along. I mean, the Chinese don't want to attack anybody. They don't want to attack us, and they don't want to attack the Americans, and they don't want to attack the Indonesians. So what is all this? It's only about one matter only, the maintenance of US strategic hegemony in East Asia. This is what this is all about. You know, and I go back to the point I made to Laura. If the US has no continental land in East Asia, how does it suspect or argue that it can remain the strategic superpower? Because if it all turns badly, it'll be just like Afghanistan and Iraq. The Americans will pull out and leave the mess behind. They would just go back to San Diego, 10,000 kilometres, and leave us with the consequences. You know, that would be the outcome.